Hey everyone, welcome to Blooming Change. This is rebloom.news' interview series, where we interview people who we believe are making a positive impact in the world of sustainability. Just as a reminder, rebloom.news is a newsletter that offers advice, inspiration, and actionable items to live more consciously with the planet. And you can subscribe below or through our link in bio. So today we're talking with Alice. Hi, Alice.
Hi.
Hi, we're talking all about ecotourism. So Alice is awesome. She is an adventure filmmaker, host, stuntwoman, and also the founder of TravGanic, an ecotourism marketplace. So Alice, do you want to introduce yourself and tell us a little bit more about what you do?
Absolutely. Hi, everyone. I'm so happy to be here. Thank you for having me. As our wonderful host said, I am Alice Ford. I have an eco platform called TravGanic that allows customers to stop endlessly searching for ecotourism and green travel and tours and have a nice place where you can find them all in one place. We curate a very small selection of very unique experiences where you can get really close to unique cultures, wildlife, and see places that you probably wouldn't have ever found on some of the bigger travel sites. So that's kind of a little bit about TravGanic. And myself, I have been traveling since I was little. I grew up in the forests of New Hampshire and just have always really loved the outdoors. So have spent a lot of my life hiking and adventuring, which I do as an adventure filmmaker on my YouTube channel as well, which people can check out if they want, which is called Alice Ford Adventures. But that's a little bit about me. And I do work as a stunt woman too. So I won't get too much into all of those other jobs because we're here to talk about sustainable tourism today. But that's just a little bit about me.
That is amazing. I love it. I love going on TravGanic and seeing all the amazing opportunities that you have for people who want to travel. So when people go on the site, can you just walk us through what they would be going through and like how they can book trips with you and just like the overall vibe of the TravGanic site that you've created?
Yeah, absolutely. So TravGanic is, as I said, we house right now a lot of tours all over the country and all over the world, from staying with indigenous people in Norway and herding reindeer. A new tour we're adding this week is actually an experience in the Amazon where you can stay with an indigenous tribe there, and it's completely owned and managed by the tribe. So it's a very community-based tourism program. So that's one we're really excited about. We have a lot of hiking and trekking, and you can search by destination. You can also get in touch with us either by phone with our 1-800 number, or you can shoot us an email and we can actually curate tours specifically for you, curate the entire process from your flights to your hotels to the actual experiences that you go on. So that's something that we often have travelers coming to us wanting to book some sort of adventure, but not really knowing where to get started. So we are always happy to point people in the right direction and kind of do all the planning for you so that you make sure that every part of your trip is as sustainable as possible. And you're picking companies that are really giving back to the planet and protecting the resources and the communities that they're in.
I love that. So many people watching this will be obsessed with this. I'm definitely going to put the link to contact TravGanic in below this video and also on Instagram. So is there a big market for green travel? And specifically, have you seen a difference in people's awareness of green travel prior to the pandemic versus now that things are starting to open back up?
Absolutely. I think before the pandemic, green travel was something people knew about, but it wasn't necessarily a thing that a large audience was looking for. But now, because of the pandemic, a term that I think is getting thrown around a lot right now is regenerative travel. And that is travel that really not only shows you a new place, but it helps the community. It reinvigorates tourism, it reinvigorates people's lives and wildlife, and really connects you to like stay longer in the destination and really get to know the community there, the foods, the wildlife, things like that. So I think that's a really trendy new thing. And it's really great for the green travel industry because it's going to just add to more people knowing about what green travel is and eliminate some of the greenwashing that does go on in the industry. So I'm really excited for more people to get involved with sustainable tourism, more people to get involved with not only traveling in their own countries, but looking for these more unique experiences where you're not just going to a hotel to drink margaritas, but you're going to a place to immerse yourself in the people there and the cultures and the foods that are different. And really, I think one of the most important things about travel is getting the education that you get from travel. And you can't do that if you stay in your comfort zone.
Yeah.
So I love the idea of regenerative travel, and I'm really glad that it is growing and that so many new companies and big companies are promoting the push into this arena this year.
Yeah, I can definitely see that trend happening now that, a lot of countries are saying they're going to be opening back up with certain guidelines. I think a lot of people are looking for those smaller, more specific, sustainable experiences when they do travel versus just going on like a mass, like a cruise or something that's like extremely wasteful for the environment, but it's easy to hop around. People are definitely becoming more aware of that. So I definitely see that happening, which is awesome. So with all of the companies and the hotels that you partner with, how do you decide who to partner with? And then also on your website, you talk about how you have your own green certifications. So how do you decide what goes into deciding who could be on your site or not?
Yeah, so we have very strict guidelines, I guess, that really allow us to pick and choose who we partner with. We have teamed up with, I believe it's 8 other certification companies that we've vetted ourselves, and we've read their certifications. We know that the questions that they ask and the audits that they have of these companies are similar to the ones that we find the most important, so that we make sure that these companies that are certified by whichever company it is are actually doing the things that they need to be at the top level of sustainability. So some of these different pillars of categories basically that they have to measure into are like water, like what they do with their water, how they use their water, how much water they use, where it comes from, how they get rid of it. The same thing with waste and energy, and do they recycle and compost? What else are they doing for those things? What kind of innovations do they have as a company to be more sustainable? If they're a hotel, do they have a green roof or a solar reflective roof? If they have a swimming pool, do they use chemicals or not? So there's a lot of different questions that we ask. And these are also things that are backed up by like the UNEP, which is the United Nations Environmental Policy. There's a couple other global sustainability, basically platforms and guidelines that our certification and the partner certifications are also based on. The certifications for each thing, like vacation rental, hotel, tour, are slightly different because they're catered to what those business operations entail. But like for hotels, they have a separate category for like swimming pool, for purchasing food and beverages and where those come from. For landscaping, lighting, do they emit light pollution? That's one of the questions on there. So it really is like the entire totality of their footprint, how they're built, what they do on a daily basis, what they do in the community, whether or not they have community outreach programs. Do they hire local people as opposed to, maybe bringing people in to hire? So we really want to make sure that the companies that we partner with aren't just taking you to see a lion and then back, and not giving some of that money to the people that live there, or protecting the lions, or whatever it is, wherever it is. We want to make sure that it's a complete circle, that we know exactly the entire life cycle of that tour company or that hotel or that vacation rental, so we can make sure that they are the most protective of the planet and giving back the most. And we want to make sure that the guests have the best experience as well.
Yes, I loved how you went through all of those questions, because I feel like as a traveler and as someone who loves to experience new places, like you think about sustainable things you can do, but then you don't always think about all the questions you can ask. So this would be a great starting point if you're going on a new vacation and you want to have a sustainable stay. You could ask questions like that as you go along and look at certifications like that. as a smart consumer and as someone that's aware of, your impact that you're having individually on the planet. So that's awesome. And then, so lastly, what is your advice for the people watching this who love to travel? What's your advice for people who want to travel once it's safe? And do you have a top traveling tip for the sustainable traveler?
Well, I think the thing we all need to make sure we're paying attention to is just researching where you're going, finding out what the rules are, finding out what the level of safety is there, and respecting that. Even if it's not the pandemic year, I think respecting the cultures of the places that you go is really important, number one. And my travel tip that I always tell people when it comes to travel is to just be really open-minded and try something new, get out of your comfort zone, whether that means trying a new food, trying a new experience, or just, there's a lot of people in this country that only travel to a hotel and they don't leave the hotel.
Mhm.
And I would recommend, whatever kind of traveler you are, try something new, get out there, get outside the hotel, go and try and meet some new cultures, some new people, and really actually experience the place outside of the hotel and really get a feel for the actual place and the actual people that you're traveling to see. Because you could go and stay at a hotel anywhere, but it's the people and the places that we go and see and experience that makes a trip memorable, that gives you an education in a new culture. So I just recommend get out of your comfort zone and really try to experience the place so that we can learn and make the world a better place through travel, but we can't do it if we don't do that.
Mhm. Well, awesome. Well, you're so inspirational. I love hearing you talk about travel. It's inspired me to look up more things before I start traveling and ask more questions. So Alice, thank you so much for sharing everything we have to know about ecotourism. And I can't wait to share you on the platform.